Welcome back. Let us continue with our main part now. The focus would be on the differences between management and leadership. Let us first address that aspect by looking into the meaning of each aspect, which is what is the meaning of management and what is the meaning of leadership. Management. This refers to the coordination of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling employees to achieve goals. Obviously, this would be business goals. So this is the planning that would happen, the coordination, the organizing of resources, and the leading together with the controlling of employees to achieve the business goals. Secondly, a manager becomes a manager because of the following. A person would become a manager because of the position in which he or she is appointed. So a person becomes a manager because of the position, meaning the position would give them authority and power to control the employees and subordinates. Then, managers have power because of the position of authority into which they are appointed. As you can see on the picture, the lady would become the manager who controls to say how is their subordinate completing the task at hand, as you can see there. Now, let us look into the meaning of leadership. What do we mean by that? An individual's ability to influence and guide followers. So leaders would influence and guide others towards achieving the objective. Secondly, leaders would inspire employees to perform the given task in order to achieve the goal. So leaders would not use power, but they would use motivation. They would inspire their subordinates. Then, it involves the establishing of a clear vision and sharing it with others so that they willingly follow. So, we are talking about their natural skill here. This individual has a power to influence others to willingly follow and do the task so that they achieve the objectives. So, hence you can see that is the leader. They would give them the vision and direction, and the followers would basically follow because they would be inspired. Then, what is the difference now between management and leadership? A person becomes a manager because of the position in which he or she is appointed. However, a leader now is someone who's born with the natural leadership skills to inspire and motivate others. And then another one is the idea that a manager has power because of the position of authority into which they are appointed. However, when we look into a leader, the leader would have power because of their knowledge, skill, and intelligence, obviously, to motivate others. And then the management or managers would be instructional in their approach, whereas a leader would be motivational in their approach, meaning they would motivate, while the managers or management would give instructions on how to complete a task. And then when you look into management would be task-orientated. They would focus on the job getting done. Management would focus on the job getting to be done, whereas leaders would be people-orientated. They would care about motivating the subordinates or employees towards achieving the goal or objective of the business. Then, we look into the two first leadership styles, which is democratic and autocratic. Democratic. A democratic leader would allow employees to participate in the decision-making process so that they feel motivated. As you can see in the picture, the leader is allowing the followers to participate in the decision-making. Now, when do we use this leadership style? Situations in which democratic leadership style can be applied in the workplace. It can be applied when the group members are skilled and are waiting to share their ideas, meaning when the workers have the skill and when workers want to share their ideas, then the leader can decide to use democratic. And then the leader does not have all information needed to make a decision, and employees have valuable information to contribute. That is another situation that would allow the leader to make decisions as well and to allow the followers to make a decision, because a democratic leader is a leader that involves their followers in the decision-making process. Let us look now into the positives or or the negatives of using this leadership style. The positives are the leader allows the employees to participate in the decision-making process so that they feel empowered. Another positive is that complex decisions can be made with inputs from specialists or skilled workers. And another issue now becomes the negatives, to say what can be the negatives of applying this leadership style. Incorrect decisions can be made if employees are inexperienced, because this involves including or involving the employees in the decision-making process. And then decision-making can be time-consuming because stakeholders must be consulted. So this can waste time. Autocratic now. The leader does not allow employees to participate in the decision-making. As you can see there, the leader is basically saying, keep it quiet, do not participate. Then, situations in which autocratic leadership style can be applied in the workplace. When can a leader decide to use autocratic? When all information is available to solve the problem. That is one. Number two, in an urgent situation, for example, after an accident or when needing to meet a tight deadline, the leader can use autocratic as well. And when employees are newly appointed and when they are not fully trained, they can just give them instruction without allowing them to participate because they don't have the experience and the skill. Then, what are the positives of using this leadership style? Autocratic. Quick decisions can be taken without consulting employees. It saves time. Number two, clear guidance can be given to inexperienced and new staff. That's another advantage. But when we look into the negatives, workers can become demotivated if their ideas are not considered. Number two of their negative is the idea that Number two is the idea that employees may feel they are not valued, resulting in high absenteeism in the workplace. Now, let us look into the difference between democratic and autocratic. Democratic leaders, they involve employees in the decision making, whereas autocratic, the leader takes all decisions alone without involving employees. And then when we look into another aspect, democratic leaders would be people-orientated as employees' feelings and opinions are considered. Then when we look into autocratic would be task-orientated as the opinions of employees are not considered, but the focus becomes the task to be completed. And then it is useful to use democratic when the leader depends on the inputs of the experienced followers, whereas autocratic is useful in a crisis or in an urgent situation. So that would mark the difference between democratic and autocratic. And with that said, let us take a short break and then we'll continue with the other leadership styles. Thank you.